You all probably hear it all the time. People telling you to raise prices, right? Things are getting more expensive. Talent's harder to come by. You need to be raising prices so you work with better clients. But the question is when you should actually do that. And so in this video, we're going to go over the signals of when you should charge more if you are a B2B business. So let's dive in. Hello, everyone. I am Dan Saavedra from MergeYourData, and we are on day 41 of 90, the 90-day YouTube sprint on signal analytics. And today we are talking about signals you should charge more in your B2B business. You hear it all the time from people. Charge more, charge more, charge more. But how do you actually know if it's the right time? Because in reality, a lot of businesses shouldn't charge more until they see certain data points. So we're going to talk about this. And one of the things that we do in these videos is show you real client results from what we're talking about. A lot of them are the same screenshots that we use over and over again because they are so relevant. And we'll be adding in more screenshots later on from different clients in different situations. But one thing you might notice is that we talk about these topics and signals, and you see these same charts over and over again, and we talk about the different things that led to that revenue growth. The revenue growth that we guarantee, where you get your money back because we know exactly how to do this stuff. We are confident in our ability that we can get these results. And so signal analytics is not this narrow scope of do one thing and it leads to this. There's often different moving parts for companies that we implement one after the other in a specific order where we know we'll get the lift that we need. And so with this client, we can see when signal analytics was launched, we get a spike in number of deals that are created, but then it kind of tapers down, right? And so there's lots of factors that were going into this in terms of how we were qualifying people, how we were making sure that the sales process was automated, that we were acting on the right signals. And on the right-hand side, you can see the revenue that this resulted in. When we launched, they were at this amount of revenue, $582,000 per month. And then you can see after 6 months, we finally see this really quick acceleration in growth. And so in our last video, we talked a little bit about this. This was a screenshot that I meant to use. But when we eliminated the churn and we won deals, you start seeing the recurring revenue climb up. So we weren't just treading water. But then also they charged more and standardized their pricing, so that they were attracting the right clients. And so this is a result of charging more. You see the revenue continuously grow. They also have better retention. And so there's all these signals that went into these decisions and led to this growth. And this is why signal analytics is powerful and why we're going to be talking about signals of when you should charge more. And so you're probably experiencing one of these if you are interested in this video and you care about why you should charge more. 1, you're having poorly qualified leads that are booking calls. 2, you have no pushback on price. When you present it, people are like, okay, cool, sounds good. 3, you're hiring way faster than comfortable. And 4, clients aren't valuing what you deliver, even though it's getting results. And so there are different portions of signals, different data points that go into signals that can lead to these 4 things that indicate that maybe you should charge more. One of these 4 things, if you're having poorly qualified leads that are booking calls, then maybe you are not deterring people who can't afford your services or aren't a good fit for your services because they're not at the right stage in their journey. And so by raising prices, you will automatically have people self-disqualify because it's too expensive. So you can get rid of these poorly qualified leads if you're sharing that information earlier in the customer journey, right? Some of you might not. And so it's a little more difficult to use the increased price to make the front of the customer journey more efficient. And so you would end up making the back of the customer journey more efficient. Your sales team would not be wasting time on people who are just not going to be able to afford your services, right? 2, no pushback on price. You should be able to calculate your price pretty accurately based off of the revenues and budgets from your stakeholders. But if you are not receiving a pushback on price, then it's possible that your pricing is too low and that they think they're going to receive this crazy amount of value, which could be good in the beginning of your journey if you're collecting testimonials, if you're building up your customer base. But ultimately, we're talking about B2B businesses here who are primarily established with a revenue stream. If you're not getting pushback on price at all, you're converting very, very highly, but you're leaving money on the table. And so that's another portion here that could indicate that you should charge more. 3, you're hiring way faster than comfortable. And so if you're growing at this unprecedented pace and you are hiring, some people think that's really, really good. For us, we see really big issues with churn when that happens, a drop in quality, it damages brand. If you're hiring at a speed that's just breakneck, like you can't keep up, there's too many people, they're not onboarding at a good pace because you're like, who is this person? When did they learn this stuff? That's not what we do. Then you might have a problem there. And pricing will slow the flow of new hires needed while also increasing your revenue, but not increasing your costs at the same speed. 4, clients aren't valuing what you deliver, even though it's getting results. There's a psychology portion of this. I am not an expert in it, but it is something that we see in the data. When people pay more, they're happier with what you do. And so if clients are consistently not happy, even though you're showing them the results, even though they're communicating what they're getting, then maybe they're just not a good fit. Maybe they think that of a service of this low of cost can't be worth anything. And so you need to increase prices to change the perception of your services. Not that the services are changing because you're already getting the results, but you need to increase the prices, right? And so if you're experiencing one of these, you need to focus on signals, and specifically this equation, data plus action plus results equals signal. We need to focus on the data and the action portion of it. So the conversion rates, and then to break down the dimensional data and the attribution data as well, but the dimensional data of the firmographic and demographic and behavioral information. And then the results obviously are always important with the financials, the unit economics for the signal, but we're focusing here on the data plus the action because we're seeing conversion rates be maybe a little bit too high. And then the unit economics aren't working out as well because there's a lot of churn. Maybe we're not as profitable as we need to be. And so it's pretty big squeeze, right? And so maybe we need to decrease conversion from stage to stage by increasing prices, which will lead to better unit economics overall. Right? And then that's how we construct our signal. And so then the action is a conversion optimization. The data are these two things. And then we should be getting the same results. And that is our signal. And so if we focus on these signals, we'll know that it's time to charge more because conversions are too high for the unit economics that are the results. And so then we need to tweak this equation and make sure that we're making more off each customer and having less effort at the front of the customer journey. And so when you get these, when you increase your prices, you'll get these results. You'll get better clients. You'll get clients that stick around, and you'll have more manageable team growth. Obviously, you have to perform correct. Like you have to perform well. You have to have good services that produce results, or you have to have products that fulfill their promises and enable your customers to do what they want, right? But you'll get these things. And so now we're going to talk about how to handle raising your prices in general. Think about how you've raised prices in the past. Did you just add $1,000 to it? I know I have. I've done that exact thing. Just add a random number. Who knows? That's not the correct way to do it. You're going to leave money on the table. It needs to be scientific. And this is something that we've learned from ourselves. But the testing has to be in small groups. You have to experiment. And then you have to act on a larger scale if you show the correct signals. And so this is what we want to do. We want to reverse engineer signals that you're charging too little, what we talked about before. 2, you want to incrementally test price increases. So lift prices slowly and see the changes that occur. Do it with a subset of people going through your funnel, your customer journey. Raise prices significantly with one salesperson or cohort of prospects. Not very good attention to detail on this presentation here. So prospects sound a lot more fun than prospects, a lot less scary. But anyways, you want to raise prices significantly with one salesperson. I did it again. With one salesperson or cohort of prospects. And so those are the two methods that you can use primarily. There's much more detail you can go into. There's tons of experts on this subject, but these are the two general categories. You lift your prices slowly as a whole and see the changes that occur, or you raise prices significantly with one salesperson or one cohort of prospects, and then you see the results from that. 3, understand that this might require updates to the sales process, depending on your messaging, depending on the experience. If you are selling a $99 service or product, that experience is gonna need to be different if you bump that price to $5,000. The messaging should be different. The attention to detail should be different. You can't just slap on a new price and expect great results with the exact same sales process and communication, unless your sales process was already catered to the higher price and you were just charging too little. So 2 facets to that. 1, keep your sales process the same if it's already luxury and you haven't been charging the luxury prices. Or 2, update your sales process when your prices go up so that you can match the experience of buying with your new prices. And so I ask you, please take one action, share in a company chat. We see about 10 to 15 shares per week right now. So that's really, really good to see. I really appreciate it. People sharing this within their companies, the different topics we talk about can lead to a lot of good change. Next videos will be a surprise. Subscribe on YouTube, review the link in the description if you want the Signal Constructor tool. I've mentioned in other videos, I mentioned in this video, but we are so confident in the results that we get with our clients that we offer a guarantee of an entire refund if we don't get you a 15% additional lift in revenue in 6 months of working with us after we launch our solution. We know this stuff works. We see the results. We take the screenshots in our client CRMs. We know exactly what this leads to. If you follow these signal analytics principles and techniques and strategies, you will see results. So book a call with our team if you're interested in that. I'm Dan Saavedra. I'll talk to you next time.